Alright, we're kicking off with the decider between Ezad and Conquerer97. Welcome to Florida. Ah, Frog and DDoS. Okay, so we've got Ezad here as Germans and Conqueror here as Spanish. And we're locked up 1-1 in this best of 3 in the round 2, the round of 8, the quarterfinal of the Two Towns tournament for the ESOC Grand Tour 3. I think it is number 3. So both these players taking their first trading post and getting their second town center, which you get for free in the Two Towns game mode. Man, this game is so pretty. At this stage, both our players really just making the villages. Ezad starting to get hunting dogs.
Correcto.
Yeah, guys, I might head to bed once I finish this one. It's 3 AM here, or 2:30 AM, I should say. I'm anticipating it being nearly 3 by the time this is finished. So we've got Ezad just making his vills. Hunting dog still hasn't been researched, and neither has Gang Saw yet for Conqueror, and neither player looking to set up for the water, I don't think. So Conqueror just checking to see if Ezad has gone for a dock, to see if there is any easy treasures to pinch here on the coastline, but it looks like Ezad has already cleared up all the treasures down this side of the map. He's working his way over towards the top. Conqueror might look at pinching this one, considering it is going to be quite worthwhile. So he's engaged the blowgunner in melee because it's actually going to be more worthwhile, he thinks, in terms of, yeah. Yeah, must be worth it doing it that way. So anyway, he pinches the 100 coin. Meanwhile, Ezad getting 90 wood. So some big treasures here for both our players. Age 2 is on the way. Very similarly timed. Ezad slightly behind Conquerors. Stray dog. Maybe not the treasure these guys want at this stage. Probably just want more resources if they can get them. Also, lucky for Conqueror, he had that up because Ezad is hot on his tail.
Aufgabe.
Conqueror's done a good job at actually stacking up the sheep. Don't know if they really are going to provide him any value on this civ, but it's perhaps good practice to have for the civs where it actually does matter, like Indians. So again, Conqueror engaging this treasure in melee range.
Ja. Verstanden. Ja.
And Ezad just wants the scout. Yeah, I'll take the scout, to be honest. Does he know? He does know about this treasure up here. 40 coin, but he must think that the scout's going to be more worthwhile. So both our players hitting H2. I'm interested to see what aggressive treasures Conqueror looks at pulling out. He's done really well with the aggression all series. Unfortunately, it didn't work out so well in the second game as well as it did in the first, and it did in his opening series in the tournament, which I had the pleasure of casting. But Ezad has managed to sneak a couple of docks here in the middle of the map, and it's just pumping out 2 fishing ships at a time. So very impressive stuff. And Conqueror is blissfully unaware of all this going down. Meanwhile, he's taking the treasures. He's going to grab that 40 coin I thought Ezad might go for, but in the meantime, Ezad's thought, you know what? Guess who's probably going to be taking it? So Ezad comes in, cleans up the Explorer, thinking that Conqueror was probably going to be pretty greedy and try and go for that as the last resource treasure left on the map. There's one for a tomahawk here and one for a dog over here. So Ezad very lucky with that sniper, very good read of his opponent. And on top of that, this means that Conqueror is sort of flying blind and isn't going to know about the water. So Ezad with a massive water boom going on here. Conqueror going towards Fortress though, so he is going to probably look at going for a second production facility and just look at spamming units like he has done most of this tournament, and really it's fared him quite well. But if Ezad can macro up enough behind this, manage to just produce enough, and with all that production and gathering, rely on extra shipments because he's ahead in XP, really can just make things work defending until he can produce just as much out of facilities, like, because you're always going to be on the back foot in terms of your facilities count. Like, he's got none at the moment. He's really only got the Yulins he's got from shipments, so he's going to add his first barracks, and Conqueror's probably going to add the second barracks before Ezad adds his second. Conqueror's actually going for a third town centre here, courtesy of his age up. Oh, that had bugged out, it didn't update to Fortress. The scout there, really useful in the stealth mode. While the Yulin's going to pick off the settler for free and retreat. So very nicely done there by that scout. Good job, Ezad. So things are going his way. He's sniped the explorer. He's killed a settler early. He's managed to get away with this double dock for free. I think he might be cutting his fishing ship
Auftrag.
production there at 13.
Bereit.
17, sorry.
Ja, bereit.
So very healthy fishing ship investment. It means he can pretty much... Oh, he snipes the dog too. Very tidy. So sniping the dog as well. Did Conqueror has seen one of the docks though. So the game on the water has been given up. But Ezad has been able to get so much value out of this for now. And he does have 2 production facilities down. So it's pretty much evening things, although Conqueror gonna add a 3rd. But Ezad, once he gets the wood here, I think he might also be able to add a 3rd. So he's looking at playing aggressively off the get-go here, so a bit of an unusual spot for Conqueror, I think, playing defensively after getting the quicker fortress. That's a really healthy number of Yulins, so the perks of German is the moment you get an experience lead, you just get so much cavalry for free out of shipments, and then on top of that, you can always train these suckers. So they're basically a squishier, but higher damage hussar, so you can't really stick around in fights with them as much. But I mean, you've got access to these Doppelsoldners, which are just a really nice area damage infantry, and you've got access to skirms. It's a really versatile army. Not to say that Spain doesn't also have a versatile army, because Lancers are a hussar that's better against infantry, and I think they've got extra range, melee range, a bit like Lancers in AoEO. And they've also got skirms, and Rodoleros are, well, they're much faster than the Doppelsoldners. They don't have that nice cleave attack, but they make up for it with being a better raiding unit, and one for running down low units. Easy to use them to actually deal with siege and that sort of thing, to be able to just like flank around them and just sit on top of them, because you never really want to attack them all in a line and just get blown off the earth. So it's a scary engagement, probably about to go down soon, with Ezad having his own fortress, which did actually update automatically, whereas for whatever reason Conquerors seemed to wig out there for a sec. So war wagons, really nice unit to have against the Falconets and against the Lancers. And they're also not going to be countered by the skirmishers like your own skirmishers will be. So Ezad just sort of doing the dance, waiting for a good moment to engage. Conqueror obviously doing the same, but wants to try and see if he can negate one of these production facilities, because if he can rob Ezad of that production now, going into the fight, it can really change the course of the battle. Got some good shots here. It's not the greatest of spots for that infantry to be in, but now the Falconets having to pick off everything in front of them. So the Falconets are going to get sniped, so I think Ezad has this fight won. He's definitely got more of a front line here. That is a big number of skirmishers there for Conqueror. Although they're up against a mixed army, while they themselves are pretty much without any support. But I think Ezad is It's really forced Conqueror back to his base, and here some Rodoleros are going to join the fight, but they're really only going to be useful in trying to snare off all these Doppelsoldners and allow Conqueror to try and turn this, and he's going to get, I was going to say, was that some more skirms, but it's only Vils, which is a bit drastic now. The Vils having to evacuate as well. Even a Rodlayer on a dog stuck. But Ezad creeping forward in score. Further and further again. This tower of Conquerors is going to slowly kill the settler wagon. But it's going to take a while. The towers actually have negated damage against settlers, I think. Sort of try and stop cheesy tower play from being too rewarding. But Ezad's just saying, fuck it, I'm going to try and take down this town centre. And he may get it. Oh, but that's a lot of falconets there for Conqueror, so Ezad needs to be careful to not overcommit here, but Conqueror is relying on him too, because if he can see his opponent doing so, he can work his way back into this game, take out some of this cavalry, that big number of skirmishes. It's a nice spot for him to be in, and that's a huge number of skirmishes going down, but at what cost? That's a lot of Vils out in the open, exposed that are going to fall, but at the same time they're going to absorb a lot of damage for Conqueror's army to try and defend here, because Ezad is slowly running out of units, and they are all bunched up for these Uhlans to hit. A lot of the villagers just standing and fighting and firing on Ezad's army, so Ezad wiping out the town centre, but Conqueror's got another one. In saying that, Ezad's up to 3 town centres himself, so it's 53 to 84 Vil count in favour of Ezad at the moment. And Conqueror needs to find a way back into this game. That settler wagon finally getting pulled back by Ezad. Conqueror looking at mounting a devastating push if he can do so, because right now he's pretty much even in terms of army size with Ezad, because the worker disparity is pretty much the whole population difference at the moment. And if you can secure it under this outpost, you can look at trying to crack back at Ezad, taking out this third town centre here, or at the very least disrupting all this food gathering. But bearing in mind, Ezad's food eco is in a wonderful spot. He's even adding some fishing ships behind all this. How much eco do you need, boy? I think that's even going to improve his infantry speed. Or at least the Doppelsoldners. I think it might be them that improved the speed for. So he's going to try and harass with the Doppelsoldners on his opponent. Meanwhile, ground is being made here by Conqueror. He's on the doorstep of Ezad. He's going to tear down a couple of these barracks for his trouble. But meanwhile, there's a lot of villagers taking area damage. And Conqueror doesn't have a lot of food in the bank. This is really going to hurt him. So the moment he starts bleeding units here, things are going to get tough for him. He does lose one of the falconets. And Ezad going to industrial. And he's really cleaning up his opponent's eco now with some Uhlans as well as the Doppelsoldners in there. And his own army, he's just trying to mass up at the moment. Does have some culverins, so these guys are really going to make quick work of the falconets. But there's a lot of Rodleros on his doorstep right now. Ezad is sort of relying on these skirms getting here in time. In the meanwhile, over here, he's almost managed to take out this town center of Conquerors, but Ezad's going to have to turn and fight Rodolero v Doppelsoldner. Veteran v veteran. Oh, that was not good for Ezad. That was great for the Falconets of Conqueror, who's managed to pick off most of those skirms, but in saying that, militiamen fighting off the Falconet. Here we go, some heavy cannons now, and some Yulins for Ezad. This might really tempt Conqueror to back off, but in saying that, he did manage to save that third town center of his. Well, I should say second now, considering he's lost one of them. It's really low, but if he gets auto repair on it, then he'll be able to slowly repair it without any vills having to stop and repair it like in the other games. He's got these low militiamen just out on patrol. Got to clean up some of these skirms. And there we see Ezad microed them across two because he knew he'd be able to one-shot them. So Conqueror, things looking a bit drastic for him. 48 vills to 100 for Ezad at the moment. He's maxed out all his fishing upgrades, and I think he's going to have most of his economic techs. Even getting his mill tech now. Oops. Now he's going to destroy this tower, which has been ever the pain in his ass. Those heavy cannons be really useful here, as long as he can keep them alive when those Rodoleros are coming in to intercept. But he should be able to flick his army around and get the Yulins in front. And he can really clean a lot of this up. That Falconet overextending. GG. Conqueror taps out. Ezad moves on to the quarterfinals. Well played, guys. What a series. And that's some Two Towns gameplay for you.